welcome. Thank you, everybody, for tuning back in once again for another episode of Logik's View. Today, just like the headline states, we're going to be discussing Michigan's unsafe and unsecure elections. Now, before I get off into that, I wanted to point out, the left, they be they do a lot of things more efficiently than the right. Mainly because they got way more money. They got an endless supply of money in their war chest, which gives them unlimited supply of control over the media. The left got a lot of deep state support and establishment support, but they do good little campaigns. And the right needs to, it's a lot of things the left do that the right need to adopt as far as their practices, as long as it's legal. But this is one of the things that the left been doing right now. And it's a little campaign on social media. But if you look, this lady say, I'm Mary, I'm 62, I'm in Michigan, and I'm voting for Biden in November. Okay, I didn't notice that at first. How about you? Then you got another dude. I'm David. I'm 65 in Michigan. I'm voting for Biden in November. How about you? Look at that, 80,000 views. Only got 1,700 likes, but I mean that's a nice little amount. But it's other ones that got 4,000 or 5,000 likes. And it's all older people, from what I've seen. Like this dude live in Philadelphia, but same campaign. Only a couple likes on that one. This dude, 85, he voting all blue. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen a lot of these with a lot of viewership, a lot of likes, and a lot of shares, and it's all older people. Nothing against the older crowd, but they must not know nothing about Gretchen Whitmer and what she did during COVID and things like that. So that simple campaign though, picture yourself. I'm supporting whoever I'm supporting, even for local level candidates. That's a creative and effective campaign that don't cost no money. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, there's a lot of people in the population that's not on social media like that, but for the ones who are, it still spreads far and wide. So that's something that I just wanted to point out that the right could be doing as well. Even though it's a lot of digital warriors, I know it's a lot of digital warriors out here supporting their candidates and spreading knowledge and truth. I'm one of them, but I've been noticing that little campaign when I'm on X researching in Michigan, especially, and you don't see the right doing nothing like that. So now we're going to jump right into, the elections, the good old trustworthy, safe, secure election. So I just want to go over some stuff that's been coming out lately, ever since the election in November of 2020. Even before the election, digital warriors and patriots was fighting to bring evidence and proof. A lot of it was also captured in real time. So I just want to go over some of these videos with people who may not have seen them. And I got a little compilation that I'm going to play them all that I gathered. Not a lot. It's a ton out there. But this is some of the effective video footage regarding the 2020 election and a lot of the warriors fighting to expose it as well. We're just going to go into a couple of these.
This woman is delivering a stack of ballots. And the person behind her rolls down the window and hands her a ballot to put in the ballot box with her stack. And then she goes back to her car with the stack of ballots again. And I think at that point she realized that the ballots were not signed. And so you're going to watch her sign each ballot in the vehicle. And she signs them and then puts them on the dashboard individually. First she searches for a pen, so it takes a second. But we've got this speeded up so you can see. But yeah. So she's signing, and when it's slowed down, you can see the pen in her hand when she reaches up and puts the ballot on the dashboard each time.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so
that's
man,
it.
You guys are
good fun.
fantastic.
Good fun. That's
they did a great job.
Fun.
they did a great job finding this. And as you can
Yes.
see, there it is right there. And they did a close up with the camera. The footage is very clear. There she goes, right to the Dropbox. So mission accomplished.
Unbelievable.
So now this video is from 2020 or even early 2021. There was a lot of warriors fighting to get this stuff out, and a lot of it was happening. We knew it was going to happen before it happened, leading up to it happening, and as it was happening, of course, after it happened. Tons of the channels that I follow, been following for years, they was kicked off of YouTube and all these platforms in October leading up to the 2020 election because they was dropping so much evidence and so much proof, especially with Tony Bobulinski and all type of stuff. So
we have one more clip. Patty, do you want to set that one up? That's the stack. The man in the black Nike shoes who was very busy that day. This is election day, I believe. It might be the day before. But Patty, you have.
Yeah, so he was first confronted by one of the team members that was watching the Detroit Office of Elections and several ballot drop boxes. They had teams of people that were watching the drop boxes. So he was confronted. He was carrying a stack of blank ballots out of the Department of Elections, and he was standing by the curb, and one of the people that was working in this team asked him where he was going with them. And he got nervous and said that he was delivering them to one of the satellite locations that was about 7 miles away. And when they asked why he was delivering blank ballots that were not in a container, he said he had been doing it all day. That was his 5th trip. And then he got nervous and started to walk away, and they asked him where he was going. He said he was going to walk there, which was 7 miles away. And then the video that Jim just showed is about 7 or 9 minutes after they saw this man that said he was walking 7 miles to the next satellite district or satellite office to drop off blank ballots.
So he obviously got a ride there. So it's interesting. There's obviously more. They saw this guy around. He was a very busy person in Detroit.
So right there, you got Patty McMurray. You know, you got Catherine Engelbright, Greg Phillips, and Jim Hoff, some warriors who've been fighting left and right to continue to bring this information. Let's see what else they got on there.
Yeah, the next clip we have is a postal worker who made 4 stops within an hour. We have the timestamps right there. And again, this is speeded up a little bit, I think. But she made 4 different stops within an hour at the Dropbox. We're not
Same
sure
Dropbox.
We're not sure about the legality of this, but it certainly appeared suspect. So here she is going back again and again. We haven't seen other post office workers doing this, so that's why this stood out to us. Did you want to add anything on that, Patty?
Yeah, just in the final video. So this is the same person, and the number on the vehicle matches each time. So in the 4th visit, she comes back, and this is a private vehicle. So this is not a post office vehicle. She comes back for a 4th trip with a big stack. That's a pretty substantial stack of ballots. And she throws them in the Dropbox and then
Great work, Ash.
Private vehicle.
That's great.
That is great work. And as you can see, that is November 2nd, 2020, leading up to the election. And it's also election fraud in its raw and purest form. You know what I'm saying? Each ballot that they put in that's fraudulent cancels out one of our legitimate votes. It's just destroying America what these people was doing, and they a lot of them just paid mules, paid to do it, don't know nothing about politics, don't care about politics, don't know the effects that this stuff have on our country. A lot of people have been brainwashed to support Joe Biden and that his regime, and you know, for that almighty dollar, the love of money is the root of all evil. People be supporting evil just for their love of money, and it's a need for money as well, but you got to get it the right way. Got to figure out how to get money the right way, not these corrupt ways, especially when it's supporting evil. Let's see what else.
and she was working inside the TCF that morning.
Now
So
this
we put in a request to get this video, and she was working inside the TCF that morning. So we put in a request to get this video. It took months, and we got this at Gateway Pundit. We put this up on on our site. We tweeted about it, and that's when we lost our Twitter account, by the way, by putting up this video. There's a lead car, an escort car that comes in. You can see here each time. He hands something to the people inside, and then this van drives in, and they actually came in twice. Now, we had local media, one of the top reporters there. I'm not going to mention his name. He said that this never happened. He was there all night. There was no fraud. Nothing happened.
Now, to point out, this is allegedly when there was like a 30,000 ballot dump at like between 3 and 4 in the morning. People was witnessing it and tried to expose it, but it was covered up in real time, caught in real time. And we got the footage that was put out right after it happened, when the judges and when Ed McBroom and all these sellouts was saying there's no evidence of mass voter fraud in Michigan or across the country. They was lying. They knew it was massive exposure, massive people blowing the whistle and exposing tons of evidence. Their job was to cover it up and discredit all the evidence.
So now we have the video of that. What's interesting about this, though, and that's why we included it today, is, for one, it'd be wonderful to have some ping data on who these people are driving the escort car, because we found out later this escort car was from,
I was just thinking that,
a Pennsylvania license. So it's a rental car, we believe. But what we found from Patty's group, the Michigan group, is they counted the Dropbox ballots the last couple days, and there was only about 1,400 in the area that were dropped off the last 2 days, the ones that they counted.
They've actually watched every Dropbox and counted the ballots for every single person that dropped a ballot in Detroit. So they counted the ballots, and that's about the number that they came up with, around 1,340.
Yeah, 1,400. And then when these were dropped off and they got caught, they came out and said, well, it was just 16,000 ballots. So we're not sure where they got these. This was 8 hours after the everything was shut down. You're supposed to have your ballots in at 8 p.m. 8 hours later, they bring this inside the TCF, a big, huge drop. And we know now they came in twice with 60 boxes of ballots the first time, another 13 or 12 or 13 the second time. And they're telling us, that they had 16,000. We're wondering, because of the work this group in Michigan has done, where'd those ballots come from? We have no idea.
well,
So
it was also tons of people exposing this, like Christina Caramo, like Shane Trejo was there. Man, there was tons of people there exposing this. If y'all remember, they was putting cardboard up. The Democrats was putting, and the election workers was putting cardboard up, keeping Republicans from seeing what's going on, recording what's going on, keeping them from coming in. You know what I'm saying? Tons of shenanigans surrounding Michigan's election, and this stuff went on across the whole country. People was trying to expose it across the whole country. And we had hearings too. We had hearings about it. Here go one right here with Rudy Giuliani. FOIA documents released by Yehuda Miller confirm conspiracy to overthrow the U.S. government. The FBI and DOJ uncovered a massive 2020 election mail-in ballot registration fraud across the state of Michigan. Yep, and this stuff was before Ed McBroom's Senate report even was finalized. It came out saying it was no fraud in Michigan. Was no evidence of mass voter fraud. Pure lies. Dana Nessel knew. Ed McBroom knew. The FBI knew. They all knew. And their job was to cover it up. The media knew. So here's Rudy Giuliani questioning an election worker regarding evidence and conduct, misconduct, malpractice, whatever you want to call it.
Time you left,
Yes.
how many co-workers did you have when you were backdating the document?
You mean at the election headquarters?
Yes, at the original place that you worked.
Okay. After, I think about around September 15th or so, they started the second shift. Until then, it was only from 9 to 4, one shift. Then they started another shift from 5 to 11. So 2 shifts. So I would say, if you add all of them, let me see. I would say around 80.
About 80
Yeah.
workers.
Yes.
And to your knowledge, were they all instructed exactly like you were
Yes.
to falsify
When they
the
were,
document?
yeah, when they were preparing the ballots to be sent, the ballot package.
So the ballot package had a false date on it when it was sent out, deliberately.
I mean, what basically is that date that you put on that ballot package, that will be entered to QEF as the ballot mailing date. And that's what it is.
And then the law requires, doesn't it? So starting on the 20th of September.
22nd.
22nd?
Yes.
22nd of September.
Yes.
For some days thereafter.
Yes.
Each day you were given a different date.
Yes.
In order to backdate.
Yeah. Yes.
The application. Is
yes.
That right?
Yes.
And it was a different date each day?
Sometimes you use the same date, maybe consecutive days, maybe you will use the same date, but it was different.
But it was never the correct date.
It never be the same day, the day you are preparing the package.
In other words, it was a false statement.
Yeah, it was a date prior to that date that you are preparing
Who told you to do that?
Whoever was the supervisor on the floor that day.
Now, if y'all look down here, you can barely see it right now, but the date is December 2nd, 2020. Already having hearings about this stuff, not even a month later, because the jig was up before it even started. The fix was in, but the people was trying to expose it, and they was canceling, shadow banning, shutting down channels left and right. All the top most effective channels, the top 20 most effective YouTube channels got shut down in October, and then there was a whole bunch other that got shut down after that. But they was controlling the information, controlling the mainstream, controlling the narrative, and the truth was pushed. The truth was silenced because of that. But here it is, still to this day. This stuff still remains, and it's coming out, and it's showing that it's been here all along.
Was it one supervisor or more than one supervisor who told you to backdate it every day?
There were more than one supervisor, not just one, more than one.
So during the period of time you were there doing it, which you estimated was about 10 days.
Yes.
Would you say that about 100,000 false documents were created?
Yeah, from September 22nd till, I would say, till September 30th. Yeah, about 10 days. I was there till October 2nd.
And you estimated, when we went over this, about 10,000 a day.
Yeah, anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000. Yeah, sometimes we will be able to complete. I even remember 14,000 packages. Sometimes it's 12,000. So you can just, to be on the safe side, you can say 10,000 per day. That's a good number.
And just before.
I show you, boy. They had a factory type of setup with these producing fraudulent ballots. Boy, that COVID was the catalyst to help them muddy the waters and do a whole bunch of unprecedented stuff when it came to the election. Now look at this one. It's only a glitch from Serbia because they got caught. This is recent. Sheriff Dar Leaf, mighty warrior, is investigating the role of individuals Gretchen, Jocelyn, and Dana. Hallelujah. He is a mighty warrior for God and truth. Don't care who you is. If you corrupt, you breaking the law, he coming for you, and that's what we need. He remind me of Sheriff Grady out of Florida. Sheriff Grady be on them pedophiles, but Sheriff Dar Leaf be on them corrupt politicians.
For Democrats that were meant for Republicans causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity. Antrim County had to hand count all of the ballots, and these counties that use this software need to closely examine their results for similar discrepancies. The people of Michigan deserve a transparent and open process.
So this one don't show the date, but I know that this was right as the election was happening. Basically, you see the totals were still
1,000 vote swing against our.
They still got, they just called it, which just make me sick. But anyway, back to Dar Leaf. This is the letter that he wrote to the Jim Jordan and other congressmen. I'm not gonna read through it, but you can pause it and read through that. Sheriff Dar Leaf ain't playing. He said, I have evidence in my file of Serbian foreign nationals entering our election system while the votes were being counted and prior to the certification. The election vendor Dominion hired these Serbian employees and disclosed in emails that they are not able to provide backgrounds on these individuals due to law in Serbia. Man, Sheriff Dar Leaf ain't playing. That's speaking of Serbia. I got some footage I'm gonna show y'all related to Serbia coming up. As a result of this information, my office is also investigating conspiracy crimes, wire services fraud, honest services fraud, and perjury charges, among other criminal acts. The perjury charges stem from assurances by Dominion CEO during sworn testimony before the Michigan legislature that its voting machines and voting systems could not be accessed or connected to by outside networks and sources, and that it was a U.S.-based company. So Sheriff Dar Leaf is exposing it all, and this is in conjunction with what you seen a couple weeks ago with Pat Colbeck, Warrior Pat Colbeck, and other legislators from Michigan filing a complaint and bringing up charges against John Poulos, who this document is talking about, Dominion CEO. So it's a lot happening right now. Now, speaking of the Serbian Nationals, we're going to jump right into this. So we're going to click on this. Look, hold on. I'm going to try to read it for those of you who ain't watching. This one says, the owners of voting machines intentionally programmed the voting machines operating program to use decimal numbers when tallying vote. The owners of voting machines intentionally programmed the voting machines operating program to use decimal numbers when tallying votes and to allow external remote access to the voting machines through a remote software interface. Since 2005, Dominion Voting Software has a representation in Serbia, and it is part of implementation of globalist agenda. The quality of the software, written by the experts from Dominion Belgrade office, is best illustrated by the software glitch that was discovered in Antrim County in northern Michigan. The aforementioned county is traditionally Republican. In the last 32 out of 34 elections, Republicans came out victorious, while Trump himself won the county in 2016, taking 62% of the votes. In this presidential election, at first, the winner was Biden, but then during first routine control, it was discovered that due to a software glitch, 6,000 votes were misallocated to Biden instead of Trump. After the correction of this mistake, Trump won the county. Voting equipment produced by Dominion Voting Systems is being used in 69 out of 83 counties in Michigan. The fact that this isn't some kind of mistake is confirmed by the information that the voting machines in another Michigan county, Wayne County, were hooked up on internet at the time of vote counting. on November 3rd, 2020 at 11 p.m., configured to Serbian IP address, and thousands of votes given by the voters to Trump were from Serbia transferred to Biden. The example in Michigan shows that a computer algorithm was in place to lower Trump's votes as a function of percentage of Republicans in a precinct. This is how we came to completely illogical and false data that support to Trump has decreased in Republican dominant precincts. Right from the beginning, the program has been set up in such a way that every time Trump receives 3 votes, 1 vote is added to Biden. A number of mistakes and malwares were added to the software, and additional manipulation were done over the internet from Serbian IP address. Dominion Software's external network is configured to the Serbian IP. Okay, here we go. Dominion's software external network is configured to the Serbian IP address. The internet network being used by that IP address is SBB. The IP address leads us to a location in Belgrade, Zoran Đinđić Boulevard, in the building located at the aforementioned address. We can find multiple companies: Opportunity Bank Serbia, internet provided EUnet, but also the corporate headquarters of the leading Serbian cable and internet providers. SBB, several other companies belonging to the United Group, which is also the owner of SBB, are located at that address, such as Sport Club and Nova S. United Group and SBB are owned by an American fund called KKR, and George Soros, the chairman of KKR, is David Petraeus, former head of CIA. Wow. And George Soros' man. Petraeus began working for Soros in 2000 at the time when he was stationed within IFOR forces in Bosnia and Herzegovina, whatever. He was also the director of Soros' organization called Move On. He was the director of CIA during presidential administration of one Barack Obama. Wow. This is from attorney and warrior from Michigan, Stephanie Lambert. I gave the evidence to law enforcement, the discovery file from Dominion. Yep, so Stephanie Lambert fighting the Constitution does not permit secret Serbians to run our elections. Local clerks are to run our elections, and transparency is prevented by Dominion, the vendor. So you can read this as well. So all the people who've been fighting since the beginning of the before the election, we knew COVID was brought in to disrupt the country and to steal the election. My first channel got shut down for discussing COVID and for discussing the elections. You know what I'm saying? Reporting at an event with Matt DePerno and Pat Colbeck, and they was discussing these 2 topics, and it got my channel the 3rd strike. This stuff is serious. Now, just giving y'all some of the latest regarding this. We went from the day it happened, before it happened. We talked about all that up to present day. B Hizzy dropped this the other day, exposing what we done already discussed. Michigan Sheriff's investigation reveals Dominion voting system CEO John Poulos directed his staff to conceal that Dominion has Serbian and Chinese employees operating out of its Canadian office, and that these employees are directly involved in U.S. elections. I repeat, foreign actors have administrative access to the machines our elections are conducted on. Not only was access granted to U.S. election equipment in real time during the election, but detected by the U.S. government through Albert sensors was subverted by use of soft phone. So yeah, here's the letter that Sheriff Dar Leaf sent out. I believe he sent one out in April too, but he sent another one out, which is this one. So y'all can pause that, read through that, because it's important. Here's the second page. So you got the first page and the second page. Yeah, so just letting y'all know, man, people been fighting here in Michigan. People still fighting. Whitmer, Dana, and Jocelyn are all complicit criminals, guilty of treason, guilty of murder, guilty of crimes against humanity. All three of them, in one way or another, are all guilty of treason and crimes against humanity, especially Gretchen. And Jocelyn been stealing our elections, and Dana been covering it up. So, the truth is going to prevail. It takes years when you live in a country that's dominated by propaganda and lies and brainwashed citizens and misinformation. People really have to start searching for the truth. So that's Michigan, man, in a nutshell. And there's a lot more to discuss about Michigan regarding these elections, too. I remember it was 10,000 of us. We all signed affidavits and turned them in at the state capitol, 10,000 affidavits. Now, according to the way Michigan law was before Jocelyn Benson changed the laws and all this, and the legislature changed the laws, all it took was one person to ask for an audit of our elections, according to the way our law was set up. But now they've changed that. But we had 10,000 people, and I was one of them, who filled out affidavits, turned them in at the state capitol. Christina Caramo turned in them all, walked them into the state capitol, and they ignored all of our voices. You know what I'm saying? So it's corruption at its finest, treason, overthrowing the election. I might upload this onto YouTube just to see if they let it stay up for long now or not. But it's definitely going on Rumble and Telegram and other platforms, locals as well. But God bless y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for fighting for truth and fighting for our freedom and our children's future. And God bless y'all. Stay out there. Keep God first. Peace.